So I stayed in a hostel.
Oh, I bet there's some good stories with that.
Yeah, I can tell you a story or two.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it.
You're listening to Experience This, a show about the emerging experience economy with your host, Tom Young.
Hi, everybody. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm sitting here with Kieran Bajwa and Shawn Uman.
Hey, how's it going, Tom?
Hey, Tom.
How we doing? Hey, so we're going to sit here and we're going to interview Shawn, our world traveler, who on the heels of coming back from Sundance. Did you even come back from Sundance?
I came back for one day
You came back for one day and then you were off to...
Nashville.
I think only because you had to drop off those big skis you were carrying around.
Yeah, that was
So your skis came back, you had to drop them off, and then you went off to Nashville.
right.
So what, a country music fan, or what were you going down there for?
No. So I just have one of my close friends. He's him and his girlfriend are physical therapists, and they're doing a program, traveling PTs. So they spend like 3-month stints around the country. And it's nice because they actually get paid a little bit more. They get a stipend for housing, and it's a way to just kind of experience the country before settling in anywhere. But right now they're stuck in Alabama or northern Alabama, and me and my friend had decided we should, visit them. And so we picked Nashville, which is just about an hour or two drive for them, and a short flight for us. So that's how we picked
great.
Nashville.
So we did a conversation in one of our prior episodes around minimalism. So I'm going to assume, Shawn, that for this, how long were you there for? 4 days?
Yeah, so I was there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so 5.
5 days.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So did you bring a shoe bag or do everything in check a bunch of bags, or did you go in a backpack?
It was my same backpack I take traveling everywhere, just that.
That's
Is it the same backpack or have you gotten a new one?
No, actually, it's the very same one from, it's probably the greatest.
Is it a hiking
$110.
backpack or is it like a school backpack?
It's like almost like a hiking backpack. It's like a backpacking backpack. That's what they call it. It's a pack safe.
Okay.
45 liters.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't either.
I know what a liter is. And I know what 45 is, but I
Yeah.
can't put it together.
All right, we'll have to pull a picture
In a
up
bag
for you.
form.
I'll pull a picture up.
All right, so pull up a picture and throw it up on the screen if you can see it, but don't distract yourself now. I get a sense it is a backpacking backpack, so it's the kind of thing you see in Europe when you're traveling around.
Yep, it's the maximum carry-on size for pretty much every airline.
Okay, and so you carry that on, no problem.
Carry it on, no problem.
And so I'm going to assume you got a good deal flying down there.
Pretty good deal, yeah. So I got a ticket for $100 there, and then 115, I think it was back to come back.
And where did you stay when you were down there?
So I stayed in a hostel.
Oh, I bet there's some good stories with that.
Yeah, I could tell you a story or two.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it. So last time you told us about hostels, we were talking about Portugal. Mm-hmm. Now compare the Tennessee hostel and the American hostel to Europe, and then specifically Nashville and Portugal. So
I will say, expectations-wise, it was not that high because I have met a lot of travelers abroad when I was traveling that used to tell me, American hostels are the worst.
Right.
They're not good at all. And so I kind of figured that because if they were more popular, we would know about them. Kids would be doing it. Because we have the country most perfect for that, where we could road trip around. Imagine you could road trip around and just stay in hostels, and it would be cheap and kids would love to do it. It would be a great thing to do, like during summer break or something like that. But it just doesn't really exist.
Well, I feel like it's more of a European
It
thing
is
to do.
It's coming here. It is coming, but it's like this one. So I'll say in my experience, this one was pretty good actually. It was there was an awesome kind of common area. Where a lot of people hung out, but there was just no social events or anything that the hostel did themselves. It was just a problem.
So was it a dormitory style or small rooms?
So it was dormitory styles, and then they have privates upstairs.
Yeah.
So I was in a room with 6 people.
So do you guys say hello to each other in the morning? How does it work?
Yes,
Six
yes.
people that you just meet for the first time. So is it bunk beds?
It's all bunk beds. So I walk in right away, and I usually just introduce myself right off the bat. One guy got very, very detailed into his life pretty fast. This is the first time this has ever happened to me too, but he just started talking about how he was from California. He's like a construction worker. He came out here for a week, but he's just been drinking the whole week and hasn't found a job. So he's going back now. He was done with it. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to check into rehab. This is
When he gets back.
when he gets back. He's like, this is too much. It's probably because my wife passed away. And I was like, oh my God, this is all within 10 minutes of meeting this guy.
Well, I guess
He's
it's
just going
kind
in.
of therapeutic to open up to strangers sometimes.
I think that's what it is. So he just wanted to talk to someone. He was a bit older, and I was just there listening to him.
So what was the age range?
So this one was very, very wide. You
Yeah.
had kids like my age or a little maybe younger, and then I saw like grandmothers.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, so they might have been in the privates, I'm guessing. But this was, I think I don't think they even knew what a hostel was. I thought they found it on hotels.com or booking.com, just kind of booked it.
So would you pay $33 to stay?
Yeah,
Wow.
per night.
It is interesting because when you go on hotels.com, you can't always tell if some place is a hostel.
No, it's just in the name. But if you see the pictures and stuff and the privates, they look like just regular rooms.
Yeah.
So, and they're making money off this 33 times 6 over 180, 190 per room.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're losing
I mean,
money.
how much time did you spend at the hostel versus out and about?
A decent amount of time in the hostel because I made friends in the hostel. So if I didn't, then I would have been out more. But I could tell you, so I first got there the first day, and this was I just chilling. I was in the lounge downstairs, and I was just playing around on my phone. I forgot what I was doing, finishing up some stuff, and then just trying to plan maybe some things to do. And I had found like a pub crawl thing that was happening in Nashville at 5:00. And so this was my first day, and I said, okay, let's just do that. I signed up for it, and it was at 4:30 that I signed up. And so I called the person, like, where's the meeting point? And it just so happens that it was right around the corner from my hostel. My hostel was, by the way, situated in the most perfect spot
Wow.
ever. It was right on, like, right off of Broadway, which is the main street in Nashville.
Yeah.
And, like, all the bars are right next to me. And my friends that came, they got an Airbnb, and they were a mile and a half out. So they used to come stay at our hostel to kind of,
It's a picture
pregame,
I
get
have up on
together.
the screen of the main drag here in Nashville.
Yep.
Wow. So much live music, huh?
Yeah. This is
A
Broadway.
lot of neon, a lot of country music, a lot of honky tonks. I've been there a
Yes.
couple times. It's nice.
Yes.
A lot of fun. If you like country music, it's great. If you
Yeah.
don't, not so much maybe.
Yeah.
Uh,
Live music. A lot of live music.
A lot of live music. It's similar. It's similar to Austin, Texas, in that way.
Yeah. It did remind me a slight bit of Ireland as well,
Yeah.
with all of the live music everywhere.
So you stayed close to this drag,
Right at the end of it. Yep. Right on the
so
side.
you could just walk around.
I was walking around everywhere. Even better, I was telling Karen, I was scootering around everywhere.
Oh, yes.
They have
That's
these,
right.
Lyft has scooters, Bird and Lime, I think is the other one.
Yeah.
And they are just littered all around the cities. You just go up, pull your smartphone out, take a picture of the QR code on the thing, on the scooter, and then it just charges you $1 and then 15 cents per minute.
And there's no docking station.
There's no docking
right?
station. You just drop it off anywhere. Just-
Anywhere.
I was looking for excuses to take it. It was so much fun, just scooting around the entire city, and yeah, very convenient as well.
Yeah, I've seen it. These are the things that Adam Curry complains about in Austin, Texas, because they do litter them around. There's people just leave them anywhere.
They leave them anywhere, yeah.
And then at night, there's a patrol that goes around. They grab them, they recharge them up. And I guess they have some kind of communication where they know how much you're using them, so they know which ones are about dead, and they go pick them up.
Right.
But it's an interesting way to some of the city councils are starting to say, hey, we got to regulate this a little bit because it can get out of control, because lots of companies are coming in just dumping the scooters in. And, for that price point, it's fun to get around that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
convenient. Yeah, fun and convenient. I was saying they should think about it in New York, but it is.
I think it'd be really dangerous in New York.
Yeah.
The bike lanes are bad enough in the
Yeah.
city.
I will say it is quite dangerous. Like, I did not have a helmet, obviously. Didn't carry one, so it wasn't.
So did you go to you go to the hostel, you check in, and then
So there was one other thing that I was sitting there, and there was only one other person at the table, and they were on the side, and they were on the phone. But I saw their shirt, or she was wearing a hoodie, and it said St. Pauli on it, and I could see that she was speaking German. And there is a street in Hamburg, Germany, that I had been to. It's St. Pauli, and it's pretty popular. And I was very curious. I was like, maybe that's the same St. Pauli from Hamburg, Germany, and she might be from that area or something. And I always thought, I wish I could talk to her, but she's on the phone, and I had to go to my pub crawl. So I left, and I'll get back to that later. It connects in. And I went on the pub crawl, and this ended up being awesome. There was just a bunch of people from all over the place, older folks, a few younger ones. And we kind of just became kind of close by the end of it. The guy was really good. He was really funny. He told stories, and we were just going bar to bar. We'd grab a drink, and he'd tell us a little bit about Nashville history and how the state came to be, and all of that.
Wait, was this organized through? Was it an organized pub crawl or an impromptu?
It was an organized one that I just found online off TripAdvisor.
Okay. Got it.
So this was
it Viator? Did you use
TripAdvisor?
TripAdvisor.
Yeah. And which ended up being great because it was either that or I was gonna just.
So you pay to be on the pub crawl?
Yes.
How much was that?
$15.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
And with any drink tickets?
I think there was discounted tickets. I had discounted drinks for us.
Yeah.
We had a little wristband.
But so he would and then narrate the whole thing.
Yeah, he would be telling us stories and everything, and he let us at the end. He gave us directions of how we want to continue the night, and so we just kind of did our own pub crawl.
So
at
how
the
long
end.
was it? About 90 minutes?
I think it was like almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
that's great.
Yeah, and at the end we just did it ourselves. We just followed his advice on other bars to keep going to. So we had a great night, and that was my first night there. And I woke up, and I remember I was like getting ready, and I was going downstairs. I was like, I hope that girl's down there, so I could talk to her and see if she's from Germany. And I was walking down out of my hostel, and we're at this T intersection, and I make a right, about to go on the elevator, and she's right behind me. So I was like, oh, wow, this is coincidental. And then we get in the elevator, and it's just us in the elevator.
Did you hit the emergency stop?
I should have. But we were on the third floor, so I had quite a little bit of time. And I asked her, hey, is that St. Pauli from Hamburg? And she was obviously shocked that I would even know that. But yeah, so she is from Hamburg. And we left the elevator, and she was like leaving, and I was pulling into the thing. And then she's like, oh, let me just grab a coffee. And then we ended up talking for like an hour or two, and then I ended up hanging out with her for the rest of the trip. So I made a friend there. But it just shows like how like, we go from literal strangers sitting across from each other on a table to like very good friends by the end of this trip.
I would think, I get that you do it and it's fascinating talking to you about it, but I would say more than, I don't know, pick a number, half the people couldn't do what you're doing or are typically not inclined to do. They probably could do it, but they're not inclined to. Do you agree with that, Karen?
Yeah, but I wonder if it's just because of the living conditions. So imagine the same setup, but
In a private hotel room.
Yeah. Or, a nicer hotel, like a luxurious hotel that kind of did the same thing.
Well, the private hotel rooms are isolating. So you're in your room and you close the door. If you're by yourself, not only mentally, but physically, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Where the hostel, you're forced to talk to the guy who lost his wife, who's looking for a job and drinking too much, or you bump into the girl from Germany, whatever it might be.
There's also an expectation of like people being there on their own. There's a lot of like solo travelers do hostels. Yeah. So there's that kind of like expectation of it's totally normal to be just talking to someone.
So Shawn, would you recommend, because we've taught a couple shows with you talking about the hostels, would you recommend that someone should just do it? I say that all the time. Just
find
a hostel that's within an hour drive and just go stay in it overnight and just see what happens.
Just try it.
Yeah.
So how would it be for you to, because most of the time when you go on vacation is through a hostel.
Yeah, pretty much almost always.
Would you find it really boring to go on vacation and get a hotel room?
It's funny because people always say, oh, you just do it because it's so cheap, right? And even if the prices were inverted, I think I would still stay in a hostel. Yeah. I've never had a good story about meeting anyone or have anything coming out of a hotel. That's never happened.
Yeah, it's true.
But it does happen through hostels. And so it's like the greatest thing to me that it's so cheap and I have this awesome experience factor and and stories and stuff that could
Now,
happen.
do you have, without getting into any salacious details, do you have any follow-ups planned from people you met in Nashville?
No. So this girl, we ended up clicking really well,
Yeah.
but she has a boyfriend.
There you go.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, it's a very anti-dramatic ending. I'm sorry. But it was crazy because we talked for like an hour or so, and she's like, I don't know. We just kind of connected. And usually I'll find people like that are traveling too. We have a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Off the bat, just on attitudes on life and things like that. So
Do you think there's love connections that get formed from these hostels?
yes,
Interesting.
I dated a girl.
Really?
Not dated, but very, very.
Now we're getting to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I was very close with a girl actually that
That you met through a hostel?
I met through a hostel. Yeah.
Wow. I guess, I mean, spending extended periods of time with somebody in
Exactly.
close quarters. You
Yep.
also get to kind of preview how they live in a
Yeah.
weird way.
So there's you. It's because also that you're spending. It's not just the hostel that you're with them. Then, if you're friends with them, then you're going out and exploring together too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a 24-hour day that you're spending with them, like all day, exploring whatever. Then you're having dinner together. Then you're going out together. Then
Yeah.
you're in the same room or sleeping or in the same hostel together. And it's very easy to get very close to someone within 2-3 days.
So
So when you find these hostels, Shawn, how are you picking them? Are you going to a website? Which one do you go to?
This exact one you're on, Hostel World.
Because I'm looking at it for the U.S., there's not a lot.
There's not a lot. There's
Yeah.
one in New York. There's one in Philly. I think Bart went to the one in Philly.
Can this be right that the city house in Philadelphia is only $3?
oh my gosh.
It says from $3. I'm
Let's
thinking
find out what the room is.
that means you have to perform certain things in order to get that rate.
There's probably 40 people in a room.
It says fabulous. I don't know what that means.
Go down 2 rooms. Keep going.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably in the wrong spot. But you go to hostelworld.com and people can go check this out.
Yep. Click search right there.
Where is search?
Yeah.
That's for the next couple days. And it
The
says
cheapest.
$20.
Yep. For a 12 bed. Just
Oh,
not
but look
bad.
at that. Deluxe 12-bed mixed dorm. So that's
Yes.
12 people in that room.
And mixed is female and male.
Do they have a delineation of snorers and non-snorers?
No, there
Have
was
you had some bad snoring experiences?
actually in this Nashville one. There was one really bad.
Yeah.
Right next
Does somebody
to me.
wake them up is it protocol? Like, is there a hostel etiquette?
They don't know they're snoring.
Yeah, they
no,
don't
but
know.
I mean, you've got a room full of non-snorers and maybe one snorer. Is it hostel
usually-
etiquette to wake up the snorer and say, excuse me, Mr. or Mrs. You're
I don't know. I mean,
disturbing the hostel peace.
There's been a couple of times that's definitely happened a lot. And
he's got to deal with it, I think, right?
yeah, most of the times it's just on you. Bring earbuds
Oh, wow.
or earplugs.
Yeah.
And just kind of because you can't expect anything. You're signing up for a room with 6 people.
Yeah, I guess
right,
at $19, the
yeah,
expectation bar.
Yeah, you can't be expecting a nice quiet.
It's Karen, it's part of the experience.
It is
So,
part of the
so you stayed in, Bart did the Philly,
Bar, I'm pretty sure did the Philly one.
and how about you did New York? Have you done New York once?
I haven't done one, but my very close friend volunteers there,
Okay.
which I was thinking about doing as well.
I walk by one in Chelsea all the time. I think it's on 20th Street.
That might be the one that he was doing.
And what's involved in volunteering?
So I think he was just behind the bar. So there was another girl that we met at the hostel, and she was a flight attendant, and she was just taking some time off. And she went to New Orleans, Austin, and Nashville. She really liked Nashville, and she wanted to stay there for a little while. So she decided just to volunteer at the hostel, and they accepted her. And so she has a free place to stay. She works like maybe 30 hours a week, just helping on the reception desk, things like that. But she has a place to stay.
You know, we've talked about this before. I think WeWork tried to do a communal living setup. And I remember if it was called We House or We Live, something like that. But basically, they were promoting the communal space and just giving out pods, very small economical rooms. But the setup was very minimalist, almost a hostel type of feel, but for longer term residents.
Right.
So I think there's definitely a desire.
Well, Shawn, I'm going to say let's plan
Maybe we could do a night of hostels in San Francisco.
I think we're already booked.
I'm pretty sure we're already booked.
We're booked.
Because I think that one place we were looking at in Napa was like $1,500 a night.
We could save some money.
Polar opposite.
Let's see. But yeah, like I say that it comes with a butler. So, but I would like to try this at one point, just to pick a city like Boston or something like that.
So the one thing I would say is I wish you wouldn't try it here, because these are not good hostels for that.
So you think try it in Europe?
In Europe would be.
I feel like Europe
best.
and Australia are way better for backpacking.
Australia too.
Community.
You don't even. I always tell people too. Like I had friends, coworkers that were a little older, that wanted to go to Portugal, and they asked me for a whole list of things to do. And of course, I recommend my hostel, but I knew they wouldn't stay there, so I just told them, hey, just get a room there. It's going to cost you nothing. You guys have money. It's $30, but get your hotel room too. Sleep at the hotel, do everything at the hotel, but just come to the hostel for the dinner and just hang out there.
That's like $30 meal.
You don't need to sleep there or do anything, right?
Yeah.
And just go for the experience.
So is it easy to get to Lisbon, other than the fact that you got to fly to Europe?
Other than that, it's super easy. Yeah.
So how do you get to Lisbon? Do you go through Iceland, or do you?
Yeah, I usually fly to Dublin and then fly from Dublin to. So I usually go from Newburgh to Dublin for 200 something, and then find usually €100 flight from Dublin straight to Lisbon.
Yeah, and backpack it.
And backpack. Just bring a backpack.
All right, so let's figure it out. Let's make it an objective for 2019 that we're gonna do a 2-night. I think you got to do 2 nights in a hostel, not one.
Yeah.
It's got to be 2 nights.
The longer the better, because then you
break down.
No, not just.
I'm just gonna. I can clinch for 24 hours, but
it's one thing to just meet someone for a day, right? And then they're gone. But if you meet someone for 2-3 days and you get to hang out with them for a while,
it's true.
Then you really get
for the social experience.
Yeah,
we have to build a relationship.
So let's figure it out.
Okay.
And I think this is going to be an opt-in kind of thing. But I think to your prior conversation we had about Portugal, too many people kind of changes it.
It does. That's the other thing. It changes it completely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because then you are only going to be hanging out with the group.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we you know what we could do? We can do. It just so happens in Lisbon they have pretty much the best hostels in every city, and a lot of them. So we could just branch out.
Or just put everyone in a separate room.
Yeah. So. We'll let's put it on our objective list. We'll figure it out. I'll leave that to you to figure out how we do that.
Yeah, I'll work the logistics.
And we'll just do a weekend in Lisbon, and try to do it on the cheap.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Not this week coming up. It's not on the cheap.
No, this is slightly on the other side of the spectrum.
Anyways, any parting comments? You had fun in Nashville.
Yeah,
awesome.
And your itinerary is, or your plan. So we've got San Francisco, and then you're doing Colorado, I think.
Yeah.
In
March.
In March.
Yes, for more skiing.
Is that a hostel?
No, that one is an Airbnb that we got
Okay.
with friends. Yeah. I don't know if there are any hostels out there in Breckenridge. Yeah.
Or skiing. Bart and TJ are doing quite a bit of skiing. They bought the season pass for the Northeast. So we'll have to get Bart on one of these, and we talk about. Bart and I went to India and Germany last year, and we had some fun stories about that. Specifically, I thought we had a great time in Germany. Maybe we talk about that on one of our future shows, because that was a fun trip. But it was also a notion, we were traveling in a large group, so that closed our dynamic a little bit. But it was also being such a foreign place. I resonated with what Rohan said in the prior show about the further you get from home, the further you depart from your normal ways. So anyway, any parting thoughts? Great.
Nope.
That was it.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye.
Hey, this is Karen Bajwa. Thanks for checking out the show today. If you like what you heard, head on over to our website, rumjog.com. If you happen to be in the New York or New Jersey area, come check out our meetup called Digital Disruption. We cover topics like you heard today with a live audience. Lastly, don't forget to follow us on social media using the handle @Rumjog. Talk to you soon.